RAF helicopter to crash land in a field close to the A34 in Oxfordshire. The Puma helicopter from RAF Benson came down at 2 o'clock this afternoon in the field off Drayton Road near Abingdon. 4 people on board at the time escaped without injury. They were taken back to their base in another aircraft. Rachel Hawkes reports.
The wreck was found with the help of the police helicopter in the middle of this field. 5 fire crews were on the scene within minutes, but in the event weren't needed. The Puma was just 12 miles into a routine training flight when it came into difficulties.
I can confirm that a Puma from 33 Squadron, based out of Royal Air Force Benson, overturned while making an unscheduled landing during a routine training sorting. I cannot confirm the reasons behind why this forced landing occurred. That will only be determined once the full investigation has been completed.
The 4 crew on board were quickly airlifted back to base for a debriefing. Thankfully, no one was injured, but coming down so close to the busy A34, everyone at the scene was aware things could so easily have been different.
Anywhere in the country, obviously, there's potential dangers regardless of where the aircraft is.
RAF photographers in another Puma, one of 15 based at Benson, flew in 2 hours after the crash to document the site. Piecing together what happened here will be a painstaking operation. This evening, the wreckage of the Puma is under guard to ensure nothing is disturbed. An official investigation has already been launched, and while there's some speculation over mechanical failure, the true cause of the crash may not be revealed for some time. Rachel Hawkes, BBC South Today, Abingdon.
A military helicopter has crashed yards from one of the busiest roads in the region. The 4 crew on board escaped unharmed.
The Puma helicopter crashed into a field and then rolled over. It was supposedly routine exercise. Well, our reporter Alex Forrest is at the crash site now. Alex, what happened?
Well, what we know is that the helicopter crashed in this field. You should be able to see it behind me, which is near Drayton in Oxfordshire, very near Abingdon. What's believed to have happened is that the 4 crew from RAF Benson near Wallingford are thought to have made a mayday call just before crash landing. Fortunately, nobody was injured, but what's perhaps more worrying is that the A34, which is the main thoroughfare from the Midlands down here to the south, is literally just yards away. Surveying the wreckage of a fellow Puma from 33 Squadron. The 4 people on board the crashed helicopter escaped serious injury and were taken back to RAF Benson by another aircraft. No one knows why the Puma had to make the crash landing in a field so close to the busy A34.
Unfortunately, I cannot comment on the reasons behind why this helicopter had to make a forced landing. We will only know that once the full investigation has been completed.
Emergency services were at the scene immediately, making the area safe. A quantity of aviation fuel was spilt when the helicopter overturned.
In terms of the fire risk from the aviation fuel, once the aircraft had crashed and there wasn't an ignition, there was a minimal chance of a fire or explosion. And given the temperature today, it's unlikely that it was hot enough to start a fire. But obviously we took precautionary measures, checking that the fuel leak was minimised.
It's not known how old the aircraft was, nor how many flying hours it had completed, but it is the 3rd incident involving a Puma in the last 18 months. Well, I'm joined now by aviation expert Sean Maffett. Sean, we do normally think of a helicopter once there's a problem just crashing out of the sky. This didn't seem to happen, though.
No, they don't do that. That big whirly thing on top, the rotor blade, is actually called a rotary wing, and helicopters can actually glide. So if something goes badly wrong, they can come down into a forced landing pretty much like an ordinary fixed-wing aircraft would do. So it's not unknown for people to survive things like this, which is, of course, very good news.
And of course, the 4 people weren't injured or weren't injured seriously. Was that surprising, do you think?
No, I don't think so, because in jet aircraft, for instance, you have ejector seats. Obviously, those wouldn't work in a helicopter because they go straight out through the rotor, although the Russians did try to have one which went out sideways. Didn't work very well. We don't have that kind of thing. But all the seats are strengthened to withstand the kind of crash impact that this thing came down in. So the crew would have been very well protected by the seats, specially designed to do that.
Now, the helicopter itself has actually fallen onto its side. Is that surprising from what you know?
Oh, I would think so, yes. I mean, you know, coming down at a quite a heavy rate, you know, not a gentle landing, obviously, and onto a muddy field. It's quite likely to fall over, which of course would have broken all the rotor head off and everything. But nonetheless, the crew all properly strapped in and able to survive that.
Okay, Sean, thank you very much. And of course, investigations are beginning as we speak, and we will tell you what they are when we know them.
Of course, Alex, thank you very much indeed.